So here is the Sudan grass bale that I got. It was 8 days ago. And you can still see it's a good amount of it is still here, but they're starting to eat on the sides and corners and everything enough to where it's breaking down a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how much they kind of lay in it and stuff like that after the fact. But they still have this rye left over that they've been laying in, and I put some of that over in their shelter over there to give them some bedding. So I may put more of this, and actually I've only picked up stuff that was around the perimeter here to put in the shelter. I've pretty much just left this alone, but I did see some encouraging signs of growth from an area, and I'll show that to you here in a little bit, where I had thrown some ryegrass out to the boys, and it's already sprouting some new growth. So we'll take a look at that here in a minute. So just came from the big pasture, and I was talking about where I had some new grass popping up, and I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera. So if we look down here, we can see some new growth all through this patch right here. And this is all when I first got that ryegrass last month. I pitched some of that over here for my boars to try to eat, and same thing, there's another little patch right here that has some green grass growing, which I'm guessing this must be winter rye or an annual rye, not a perennial rye, but it could be either one, I guess. Out in the pasture where the pigs have been eating this and laying in this, I don't know how much I'm gonna get growing from that. However, because this is the same hay that my neighbor that's leasing my 20 acres next to me for her horses is using, what that should mean is as that hay gets distributed, we should see some rye growing from that. So that's the positive that I'm taking away from this process. And we're gonna go in here and spend a little bit of time with Pumpkin, and I'll talk to you about what I'm gonna be doing over the next week here, because I've got a butcher date on the 7th of February. So, which is 8 days from now at the time of the shooting here. And just talk a little bit about why I'm choosing her. Come on. I got a rooster wanting to fight me here. Get back. Get back. Come on. Come on. Come on. All right. So we're gonna go see Pumpkin here and spend a little time with her. Come here. Come here. Come on. Hi. Hi. Good girl. Good girl. Come here. Lay down. Don't you eat my camera. Come here. Ah, 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 ah. So as you can see, she's a very sweet girl. I have no problems with her temperament. She is a little bit forceful with some of the other pigs, and because of her size difference, because she's so much bigger, that can be a little bit of a bully situation. So that's kind of one reason she's going. The main reason is it's hard for me. Oh, she's gonna lay down there. We're gonna turn her in here. It's okay, you're okay. Oh, come on, lay down. Sweet girl. I just wanted to go over a few things. I've got a butcher date in 8 days. Today is Sunday, and Monday the 7th of February. I've got a butcher date, and I'm at the very least taking her in to get her butchered. And a couple reasons for that. One, we need some pork, or we're going to be needing some pork, and because the next butcher date that I'm going to be able to get is in a few months, I need to go ahead and butcher that for ourselves. And why I'm choosing her is kind of a multi-prong issue or situation. And one of the biggest reasons is her size. So one, she takes the most to keep weight on her of all the pigs that I have, for a couple reasons. One, her size. Two, her breed. And Tootsie, her sister, she has hard time keeping her weight on. Actually, she has a hard time gaining weight. I don't know if that's just because she was a runt, or if she took after more of her mom's side than the dad's side. Pumpkin is more like her dad, more Duroc-y, if you want to call it that. And Tootsie's a little bit more hamp type. And so her size and the feed requirements to keep her size and the difficulty it is to breed her with my main boar, Gumbo, who's actually a pretty large American guinea hog. And it took me 18 months from the time that I started trying to get her bred. And we had one false pregnancy, and it was looking like she wasn't even going to be able to have any litters. And then all of a sudden she started showing a belly last summer, or last fall. And so she had a litter about 4 months ago, and one of them in there is almost like a mini version of her. So I have a similar replacement for her that will be smaller, should be smaller. And the other reason is that once I did finally get her bred, she had a large litter size, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but within that litter size, she had several that were very small and some that were very big. So there was a large size discrepancy within the litter. And what you really want to strive for is you want to have pretty similar sized all throughout the litter. And so there was size variation, but then there was also issues with one of two things. Either they were not well developed, and it was mostly small ones, but I did lose one of the larger piglets. So it was either that they were having gut health issues, or she does have enough teats for that number of piglets, but she has some underperforming teats, I think. And so I think that that was part of the issue as well, because once we got past that, the ones that were left over were thriving, and it looks like the teats that the other ones were using kind of were drying up, and I think that was probably because there wasn't much being produced. Speaking of, here's her babies behind her here. And so all that kind of totals to the hard decision for me, because I actually really enjoy her temperament, and she's very personable to me. She comes up to me, she's very sweet. I don't have any issues with me being in the pen with her, although when my son is in here, I'm very cautious because of her sheer size. She can unintentionally hurt him just by walking around him or something like that. I didn't ever really feel like she was going to bite him or anything, but that also could happen. So it's a hard decision when you figure that you're going to that you're going to dispatch an animal for whatever reason, whether it's a pet, putting a pet down at a certain time, whether it's health issues or whatever. I'm going to turn around here. But especially with butcher, and everybody's going to have a different reason why they select the way that they select. I told you a few reasons. For her is because of breeding complications and her general oversize for the males that I have. And I probably could have bred her, because I do have Heath in here, and he's one of Tootsie's from last year, or well, her first litter, which was a year and a half ago almost. And that's the reason I grew him out, was because I thought I was going to have him to breed to Pumpkin. And it's possible that he is the father, but I think he was a little bit too small. I think he was a little bit too small at the time to be able to breed her. So I think Gumbo is still the father, but that's another reason why is I don't necessarily want to go one more year, because that's what it would take, is one more year for her to try to get pregnant, have a litter, see how they develop and all that other stuff. So I feel pretty comfortable with the babies that she put out this year and the crosses that I can make from those going forward. I may not keep all of them, but by basically getting rid of her, and the size that she is, that allows me to basically feed those four for what it would cost me to kind of maintain her. And depending on how they do, I can butcher them in the summertime or in the fall if they don't fit in, or if I have high customer interest in meat at the time. So it gives me a lot more options than just keeping her. There's a lot to consider when you're thinking about culling for the needs of your farm, and what one person is trying to develop may not be important to another person. So as you see animals that you're breeding, if you're having breeding stock that you want to keep for whatever reason, whether it's they have, a shorter build or a larger build, and you want to continue to breed that characteristic, whether they have a sweet temperament versus an aggressive temperament, you maybe want to cull the aggressive ones out of your herd. Whatever it is, doesn't mean you're not going to be sad or take pause with taking a life. The reality of it is, as human beings, unless you're a complete vegan, to maintain our bodies, we have animal products, whether it's eggs or milk or cheese or meat, whatever it is, as part of our regular diet. And this is the reality of having that type of diet, is that an animal's life has to end for yours to continue. And it's far from unique. My cats eat birds and mice, and that's taking a life. But those birds and mice would get out of control population-wise, and would get into grain storage or into my house and live in my walls and all kinds of stuff if their population wasn't kept in check. Depending on how you subscribe to life, even plants are living things, and we want to maintain their life as well. But my pigs go out and they uproot plants all the time and eat those. So that's ending a life for the sake of another life. So anyway, as I butcher her, the most recent measurement that I did for her, she's probably going to weigh about 240 pounds hanging. I'm guessing it might be even more than that by the time we actually get to the butcher, because she's just free feeding on hay, and I do give her a little bit of grain in the mornings, and she gets some apples in the afternoon. And I think she's gotten a little bit more fat on her than she did before, but I don't want to get her too fat. I want to keep her relatively lean for this butchering. And because this is the only pig that I plan, I only have 2 of this breed, which is 3/4 Duroc and 1/4 Blue Butt, which is a hybrid of itself of Hampshire and Yorkshire. And so Tootsie's the other one, and Tootsie's not going anywhere. She's going to be a breeder for me for a long time. So this is the one chance that I have to develop this pork and see what the characteristics are from this parentage that I can develop from the next generation, and see if I want to keep more from or see if I want to breed more to the guinea hog side or to this side with having her offspring. She's got 4. I have 4 gilts from her litter, and I've got 3 different boars, so I've got 3 different options. So stay tuned in the future as I talk about how I'm breeding the different ones, and if we butcher any of those babies from Pumpkin, and see how that meat turns out. And I'll do a follow-up on the meat that I get back from Pumpkin. And I am still trying to sell shares of her, so if you see this video before I go to the butcher, which is going to be, it'll be February 7th is when I go to the butcher, but I'll need at least a day prior to that. So if you see this before February 6th and you are in the Wilcox, Arizona area, or greater Wilcox, Arizona area, feel free to contact us and let us know, if you want some, how much you're looking for, what you're looking for, and all that stuff. And we'll try to be helpful in that if we can. Or if you're interested in one of our full-blooded guinea hogs for butcher or partial butcher, then let me know that as well. I can take probably up to 3 pigs in when I go into this butcher date. So feel free to ask for a whole pig if that's what you're looking for. But I think that's going to do it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying to the end. We have had an influx of subscribers, so I want to thank all the new subscribers and thank the continued subscribers and all the people that view this on a regular basis. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Please drop a comment down in the comment section, and if you're not already subscribed, please consider subscribing to our channel. I do have a metric that shows me that roughly 95% of the people that view our videos are not subscribed, so that would be great if we could capture some of that viewership. But any views are good views, and if you haven't already, please click the notification bell so that you're notified when videos are released. As always, thanks for joining us, and God bless.